Okay, so for the people who just coming, you are currently listening the morning cruise in a Bush Radio, so at 10 a.m. until 12. So since this morning, we had 2 interviews. So the first one is with telephonic interview with Marguerite, the executive director of the Trauma Center for Survivors of Violence and Torture. And we also interview Simon, who is the one of the person who organized the Outscape Theater, like for celebrate the talent of young South African with a series of events, so spanning in various genres. And now we have an interview with Anna-Marie Alkema, is that, in studio. So recently the Con Spirito Philharmonic Orchestra and Frank Pietersen Music Center church performed Franz Haydn's The Creation, so directed by Alkema. Sorry for my pronunciation, is so bad. And featuring soloist Elsabe Richter, Blaine Josephs, and Barons van der Weistheisen. So this masterpiece vividly portrayed the biblical narrative of creation through innovative music. So it was an inspiring event that left as a lasting impression with its exceptional talent and spiritual storytelling. So for begin, hi Anna. How
Hello.
are you?
Pleased to meet you. I'm well, thank you. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Sorry for the accent sometimes. Yeah. Just ask us to repeat the question if you don't understand what we say.
Okay, so first, for the first question, are you ready?
Yes, I'm
okay. What inspired the decision to perform Franz Haydn's The Creation?
Okay. Let me bring it a little broader. You know, the composer Franz Haydn was like a rock star today. But the road to get there was totally different, because the music was written in a time where there was no motor cars, no electricity, where if you want to travel, you have to travel by horse or horse carriage. If you want to know something, you have to find a place where it is written. Newspapers were then already part of the community. So your information you got in newspapers. No telephones, no cell phones, nothing. So how did he become a rock star, what I call a rock star? In his days, he worked for a very famous and very rich person, Prince Esterhazy, and he lived in Eisenstadt. And he had a very, 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 very big palace where thousands of people could literally live for quite a while. And he would invite the people from all over Europe to visit during the summer holidays and spend time there. And then entertainment, you couldn't put on a radio to listen to music or go to a movie. So you have to create the entertainment yourself. And for that, he appointed Franz Haydn as his composer. And all composers compose music within the style of the period that they live in. They can't move beyond and they can't go back. So you create the music in that time frame and in the style of the time. Now, because of his exceptional personality, first of all, and creativity, and his very large output. You know, you'll get up in the morning, have his breakfast, sit at his desk and start to write music. That was his job. And then he had to get the musicians to practice it so that it can be performed, etc., etc. So to become famous as he was because of, first of all, his personality and the fact that all the people from all over Europe visited, not only a prince and a princess and their children, but their whole entourage with all the people who look after them, who made their beds, who help them to dress, all those in the style of the time. And they will go back and they will talk about Haydn and the music they had and the exceptional experiences they had during their summer holidays. So when he was then 59 or 60 years old, he decided, okay, I had enough, I want to do something else. And he went to England. And in England, at that time, the music, you will know the name, The Messiah, that was composed by Handel. At that time, he was the rock star of England. And the music there was performed daily.
Okay.
And then when Haydn visited there, he became aware of this extraordinary other rock star, which he knew about, but I mean, he didn't know him. Vienna or Austria and England are months away, not kilometers, literally months. You travel for months to get there. So they didn't know about each other. And Haydn knew about Handel because Handel was then already dead, but it was because he was a rock star, the music was performed every day. So he became deeply under the impression of this massive works. Now, The Messiah lasts 3 hours to perform. So he wanted to create something of the same magnitude and the same impact that Handel had. And then before he left England to go back to Austria, he received the text. And the text was biblical text, also a poem that was intertwined so that the story about the creation as it is written in the Bible can then be put to music. And he took that back, and where Handel composed the Messiah in 27 days, it took Haydn 3 years to complete the work.
Okay.
So that's a bit of the background of how the work came about.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the magnitude, and Con Spirito Philharmonic is a group of people, musicians, ordinary people, who does that. They perform, or we perform, works that were composed for choir, soloists, orchestra, and goes on stage.
Okay, and how did the collaboration between Con Spirito Philharmonic Orchestra and Frank Pietersen Music Center chose come about?
Yes, we know, of course, because of being musicians, we know about the music schools. And Frank Pietersen is a music school in Paarl where they train young people to become musicians, and they also have a choir because the voice is the most natural musical instrument that there is. And all people can sing, whether you sing on pitch or whether not on pitch, that's not the issue, but you can sing. And then Blaine Joseph is their choir conductor, and because he is a soloist for the production, we asked Frank Pietersen, his choir, to come together with us and perform the work with us.
Okay.
That's how it came about.
Okay, thank you. How did the collaboration between
no.
Oh, sorry.
So can you describe the preparation process leading up to the performance?
I brought the book with. You can see the book. This is just the music for the choir and the soloists. Okay. It takes almost 2 hours to perform. There are...
it's long.
It's long. There are how many... I don't know how many choir works there are. And it's difficult. It's rhythmically difficult. It's harmonically difficult. It is style-wise difficult. And it's complex written. Okay. So you have to take a long time to prepare to learn it. So the choir started to learn it in November, I think, last year. And continued this year, and then we had a short break in between because there was another project that we were involved in, and then we finalized the preparation to have our first full rehearsal on the Wednesday before the Saturday's performance.
Okay. And what were some of the challenges encountered during the real? Sorry, the word is very difficult. Rehearsals, yeah. And how were they overcome?
To sing in a production that lasts for 2 hours, you have to be fit. In the sense that your voice must be able to last, and you must physically be fit to take the challenge on, because singing is a physical activity. Yeah. You can't do it if you lie on your bench every day and do nothing. So that was the thing that we had to work on, was to get the voices fit enough so that they can perform. They know the music. They know exactly where they have to come in, which notes they have to sing, what are the words, etc., etc. And the challenge was to get the two choirs together, because Frank Pietersen is in Paarl and we rehearse in Brackenfell. So we traveled to them and they traveled to us so that we can work, but only in the later stage of the preparation.
Okay. And you play an instrument or sing?
Yes, I sing myself,
Okay.
but I'm not the leader of the group.
Yeah.
I'm assistant conductor.
Okay.
Sjoerd Alkema that's how you say it, Sjoerd Alkema.
Sjoerd
Yeah.
Alkema. Okay.
That was good.
Okay.
Sjoerd Alkema. He's the conductor. He's my husband as well, but we do he's the leader and I assist him. He has a degree in orchestra conducting, which you need to do this, because the music is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And if the conductor doesn't know exactly how every instrument and voice and whatever should sound like, he can't lead.
Okay.
He's the leader of a production like that.
Okay.
And there's tempo changes, and there's style changes, and there's dynamic changes, and there's all kinds of things that he has to lead from in front. So, but what was the question? I'm not answering the question.
No, I just ask you if you.
Yes, myself.
Yeah.
I'm also a trained musician. I play organ and piano and sing in the choir, but I'm not a soloist.
Okay, nice. No, okay.
Yeah.
It's nice. And how did how do you say Sjoerd Alkema approach during TIG, such as a monumental work like the Creation?
Yeah. I always say, in a preparation time for a big production like this, he goes into a tunnel, meaning that he's busy with the music, both by studying it, reading it, physically reading it, preparing it, remembering it, know it, like you learn text to be a show, to be in a movie, whatever. You have to learn it.
It's a lot of work.
Lots of work.
Yeah.
So he does that. Of course, his book doesn't look like mine. Mine is for a piano. But it's a big score with all the instruments written there. And he has to be able to read the 13, 18 lines of music at the same time so that he knows what it is. And you don't do that on the spur of the moment. You have to know the music.
To know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what role did the soloists like Elizabeth, Richard, Blaine, Joseph, and Baren van der Westhuizen
So sorry.
No, it's fine.
play in enhancing the performance?
Yeah. All three of them, Elizabeth Richter, Blaine Josephs, and Barend van der Westhuizen are, of course, soloists in their own right. They have mastered the skill to sing as a single person against an orchestra of 40, 50 people, plus a choir of, say, 60 people. And their voice must be able to project into the audience without a microphone. It's all acoustic. And all three of them are like that. And in a wonderful way, their three voices was absolutely fantastically balanced. They fit together. The duet between Adam and Eve later on in the work was so beautiful. And that was sung by Elizabeth Richter and Barend van der Westhuizen. It was absolutely something that will stay in our memory for a very, very, very long time. It is absolutely stunning.
Okay, Simon? Okay. What was the audience reaction like during and after the performance?
We have the practice of putting the words on the PowerPoint so that the audience knows exactly what the story is and where they are in the story, and that they can follow the music, sometimes with the choir being quite polyphonic is the musical word for it. They sing the same parts at different times.
Okay.
The audience it's sometimes difficult to hear what the choir is saying because it's so complex. And that's why we put the words on and because of that, the audience are absolutely involved in the process of the music. And at the end, everybody was just on their feet and they were just clapping, and they've enjoyed it tremendously. It was really a wonderful, wonderful performance.
And in what ways do you believe this performance contributes to the cultural and musical enrichment of the community?
You know, to listen to and to be involved in a monumental work like the creation by Haydn. First of all, Handel's Messiah is older. It was written quite a few years before the creation, and the creation at the end. To have these two monumental, what we call oratorium. Oratorium means a story being told through singing with choir and orchestra and soloists. To be involved with that and to be able to hear this music that is really, the Messiah is often performed. But the creation is not so performed because it's very, very difficult. It's not an easy work. And it was both light-hearted, like Haydn is. He was a very big, light-hearted person and full of humor. So you have that music, and you have the story that you tell, and you have the audience listening, and to become aware that it's like the big artwork of Da Vinci. I mean, if you see his artwork, you never forget that. It's the same, on the same level, I would think.
Again, if you have just tuning in now, you're tuning in to Bushra 89.5 FM. We have Anna-Marie Alkema. What is it? Anna-Marie Alkema. Is it like is it Alkema, South African?
Yes, my husband's parents emigrated after the war to South Africa and were absorbed. They come from Holland. My father-in-law was in the war. He nearly died because I don't think he even participated in one action of the war and was captivated. And he had to, in the camp, live for 3 years. He came back so ill. He was rescued just after, in 1946, he was rescued and taken to Australia, where they were literally fed again because there was only skin and bone. And then they decided to come to South Africa and work here and live here and bring up their children and so on.
Such an awesome surname, though, Alkema.
Yeah,
I like it.
My surname, my maiden name is Kruger. So we're part of the history of South Africa for very long.
So my question to you, though, is based on, I know that with art form is one of the oldest forms of entertainment in human history. I want to know, classical music and orchestra, is it one of those entertainment or art that's still going to be here, even with the digital world that we have now?
I am absolutely convinced that good art will never die.
Yeah, I agree.
And because of that, to listen to music over the radio or on a CD or whatever is never, ever like going to a live performance. And see the people involved there, singing with their whole hearts, playing with their whole bodies, being involved in the moment and in the emotion and in the activity of music. If that dies out, humankind will die. I am absolutely convinced that without art and without music, people can't live because it's part of our human nature. We need that. We need that. Either to listen to or to perform or to create the ability in your body to be able to make the music. It's a very human activity.
Nice. Anyway, before we let you go again, any performances, and also if people want to be part of it, how can they do it?
Yeah, thank you. Our next date for performance is the 26th of October. And we break a little bit away in the sense that we're going to perform music by Carl Jenkins. He is a living composer who composed very, very interesting music for choir and orchestra. Quite a few of his, and his Mass for Peace is on the menu. Mass for Peace, I think, is very relevant in our times. And then we have 3 soloists, an oboe who's going to perform an oboe concerto, and believe it or not, an accordion. He'll play a solo with the orchestra, and also a concerto, and then a clarinet concerto as well by Weber. So it's a beautiful program, and the choir is part of that, and we bring to the audience fantastic and very entertaining.
Do you also play?
I play piano and organ.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But not as a soloist. Though.
Oh, okay.
Like Shana, she played piano before.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't believe her, and then she proved it to me that she did that lesson. Anyway, thank you very much for coming through.
Yeah.
And what message do you give the youth of not only South Africa, but of the continent? I know that in South Africa, we're saying this is Youth Month, highlighting the issues that are being faced by the youth in South Africa. Doesn't matter the race. But as an elder, what would you like to say to the young people of the continent?
When I was younger, I had to choir, the Etra youth choir, Backhoff's Etra youth choir. It was many years ago. And they were a group of black people, black youngsters. And we sang the most beautiful music. I was their leader, I was their choir leader. And we went on tours, and we slept over at places, and I've got lots of stories to tell about that. And that experience to be part of a choir, be part of good music. I'm not talking about entertainment music. I'm talking about art music. To be part of art music, to sing, to breathe deep, to be involved with the rhythm, to feel the music, to understand the emotion of the music, to be able to portray it, to be part of a group, a social group, and so on. There is just nothing that comes with that. And because you're part of a group doing a positive activity, because the saying is, bad people can't sing. It's a positive and a good activity to be involved in. Get a group together. Find music to perform. Study it. Understand the meaning and why the composer wrote what he wrote in the way that he did. Just takes you into a space of life that you can't experience in any other place at all. And then you get to the performance, you perform it, and wow, to be able to remember I was part of that performance at that point in time, and we did this, and this is what we experienced, is something that will enrich your lives until the end.
That is Anna-Marie Alkema. Anna, thank you very much for coming through.
Oh, yes. I have to say, if people want to get involved with Con Spirito, I think the easiest is to, what shall I do? A cell phone number, an email address?
It doesn't matter. Any easier one that the people think they can access to you, then it's fine. Okay.
There are three ways, I would think. The one is to call Sjoerd Alkema. He's the conductor. 082 4110 325. Or per WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp is a good thing. 082 4110 325. Or send us an email to our business, which is Allmusic. Just info@allmusic.co.za. Just say they want to become part, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you very much for coming through.